The World Food Programme says it will be forced to stop providing aid to Chad from January due to a lack of funding. The move will affect 1.4 million people, including those fleeing a devastating conflict in Sudan. More than 500,000 people have reportedly crossed from the war-torn country into Chad in recent months. Many are from West Darfur, where increased cases of ethnically driven violence are being reported. In a statement, the WFP said cutbacks have already impacted refugees coming into Chad from Nigeria, the Central African Republic, and Cameroon. The organization cites financial constraints amid rising humanitarian needs. It said it needs $185 million to be able to support people in Chad for the next 6 months. Well, for more on this, we spoke earlier to the WFP's spokesperson in Sudan, Leni Kinzli, who says the need for more humanitarian aid grows every day. Let's listen in.
What I'm seeing in Port Sudan is that the city, which previously was around 500,000 people, is extremely overcrowded. There are people who have fled here from Khartoum and different parts of Sudan away from the fighting, staying in open areas, in government institutions, in universities, in schools, staying under tents, not having proper place to sleep. And they're basically living off of whatever little they had left and were able to bring with them. And WFP is here on the ground providing food assistance to those newly displaced from the conflict. Even yesterday, we started cash distribution for newly displaced from Khartoum. And this is critical so that people have the support they need to get by in these very challenging times, especially after the shock and trauma that they've been through in the midst of this conflict. The WFP, we are extremely concerned about the situation in Darfur, especially West Darfur, where we are receiving reports of conflict ongoing and very terrifying situation for the people, which is forcing them to flee across the border to Chad. So over 500,000 people have crossed into Chad and desperately need support, basically having fled with little or nothing. And this is extremely concerning, and it's extremely urgent that the donor community and the international community steps up and provides funding so that we can support refugees that are in Chad at the moment, as resources are dwindling, especially in these neighboring countries like Chad, where refugees are fleeing. And currently, WFP, to support the distribution of food assistance in Chad, requires $185 million for the next 6 months. So you can imagine that the people who are fleeing Darfur were among the most vulnerable populations in Sudan and across the world, who were already living in very basic conditions, already in high levels of food insecurity. And so they're fleeing with literally nothing, and then arriving somewhere and living in basic conditions in camps. And the needs are immense across the board, going from, aside from food, water, sanitation, shelter, every basic service, medicine. And so it's urgent that the international community steps up so to enable the humanitarian response for these already so vulnerable communities